You're sitting across from her. The dim light of the room carves shadows onto her face, a face you thought you knew better than your own. But tonight, it's a mask. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes. Her touch, once afire, is now the cool brush of a passing ghost. You feel it in your bones, a deep, primal chill. You ask what's wrong. She says, "Nothing, I'm just tired." But that word, tired, hangs in the air like a death sentence. It's a lie, and you both know it. This isn't a sudden storm. It's a slow creeping frost you failed to notice, a quiet, methodical erosion of the ground beneath your feet. You replay every moment, searching for the crack, the mistake. Was it something you said, something you did? Your mind becomes a torture chamber of your own design, but you're looking in the wrong place. The problem isn't a single event, it's a process. A silent, continuous evaluation. Here is the dark truth you've been sheltered from. Her loyalty was never a guarantee. It was a role she cast you in. And she is always, secretly, auditioning your replacement. This is not conscious cruelty. Don't flatter yourself by thinking it's personal. This is deeper. It's biological. It's the primal software of survival running silently in the background. It's a mechanism called hypergamy. The instinct to seek and secure the best possible provider and protector, not just for herself, but for the continuation of her lineage. You were once the best candidate, the strongest climber, the one who promised the safest view from the top. But the audition never ends. The moment you stop climbing, the moment you get comfortable, she subconsciously reopens the casting call. It's in her casual questions about your colleague who just got a promotion. The way her eyes linger a second too long on the confident stranger at the party. These are not acts of infidelity, they are data points. She is collecting information, comparing, contrasting, running a constant silent threat assessment on her future. You provided stability. That was your initial value proposition. The house, the routine, the comfortable silence. You built a fortress to keep the dangers of the world out, but you made a fatal error. You forgot that the fortress that keeps danger out also becomes a prison. And the female spirit abhors a cage, no matter how gilded. The man who built the fortress is a protector, but the man who stays inside it is a warden. She didn't fall in love with a warden. She fell in love with the adventurer, the risk-taker, the conqueror, the man whose energy promised not just safety, but growth, excitement, life. You traded your sword for a set of keys. You exchanged the open sea for a predictable pond, and you expected her to be grateful. This is not about money or status. A man in a mansion can be more of a prisoner than a man in a hut. This is about spirit, about trajectory. Is your arrow still aimed at the sky? Or have you let it fall to the ground? She can feel the tension, or lack thereof, in your bowstring. Let's call him Mark. Mark was the perfect provider. Good job, nice house, unwavering schedule. He was a rock. His wife, Eleanor, had everything she was supposed to want. Security, comfort, predictability. But a rock doesn't move. A rock doesn't grow. It just sits there, slowly being worn down by the elements. Then Julian entered their social circle. Julian was an artist, unpredictable, passionate, a little dangerous. He wasn't a rock, he was a storm. Eleanor didn't cheat. She didn't have an affair. It was far more subtle than that. She started to live in the world Julian described, not the one Mark had built. Her conversations with Mark became shorter. Her laughter became reserved for Julian's phone calls. She was still physically present, but her spirit had already moved out. Mark felt the shift. He tried to fix it by providing more. A bigger TV, a more expensive vacation. He tried to reinforce the walls of the fortress. But he was solving the wrong problem. The issue wasn't the cage, it was the warden. The audition wasn't for a better provider. It was for a more compelling protagonist. One day Mark came home to a note. It didn't mention Julian, it just said, "I need to feel alive again." The fortress was finally breached, but from the inside. This is the moment of revelation, the brutal, cold, liberating truth. You have been looking at this all wrong. The replacement she is auditioning is not another man. Not really. The role she is trying to fill is the one you vacated. She isn't looking for someone else. She is looking for the man you used to be, the man you promised you would continue to be. When you met, you were a story being written, an unfinished sculpture, a mystery. That is what she was drawn to, the potential, the forward momentum. But you put the chisel down. You declared the masterpiece finished. You became a monument to your past self. And no one wants to live in a museum. So what do? Do you rage? Do you despair? Do you blame her for her nature like cursing the tide for rising? No, that is the response of the boy. The response of the man is to understand the game and to start playing again. You cannot stop the audition. It is perpetual. The only way to win is to make yourself irreplaceable, to become the lead actor so compelling that no understudy could ever measure up. Pick up your chisel, start carving again. Find a new mountain to conquer, reignite the fire that she saw in you, the fire she hoped would warm her for a lifetime. Your mission is not to watch her, to control her, to cage her. Your mission is to become so consumed with your own purpose, your own growth, that your journey itself is the source of her loyalty. Let her watch. Let her compare. Let her run her silent tests. When you are the storm, you do not worry about the opinions of a weather vane. It has no choice but to point in your direction.